He was born on a morning when the city was still half asleep and the streets smelled of wet stone and old bread. His name was Robert Miller. No one celebrated his birth. His mother wrapped him in a thin cloth and went that to work the same afternoon, carrying baskets for shopkeepers who never asked her name. His father had already disappeared into the city's noise years earlier, swallowed by drink, debt, or something worse. Robert grew up without asking where he went, because in places like that, people didn't go anywhere. They just faded. They lived above a small street corner shop that sold flour, salt, oil, and dried beans. It wasn't their shop. It belonged to a man who shouted often and smiled never. Robert's mother cleaned it every morning, before opening, and every night after closing. In return, they were allowed to sleep upstairs in a room with a slanted roof and a window that never fully closed. From that window, Robert watched people struggle every day. Mothers counting coins before buying bread. Old men arguing over prices they couldn't afford. Children sent back home because they were short a penny. Hunger didn't scream, it whispered, again and again. By the time Robert could walk, he was already carrying small sacks for customers. By the time he could read numbers, he was helping count change. No one taught him. Life forced him. He noticed how often people came back angry because supplies ran out. He noticed how sometimes shelves were full, but nobody bought because prices were too high. Other days, prices were low, but there was nothing left to sell. The shop owner blamed luck. Robert did not believe in luck. At 12, Robert's mother collapsed while scrubbing the floor. Years of exhaustion finally caught up. She survived, but never fully recovered. From that day, Robert worked full-time. He opened the shop at dawn and closed it at night. His hands grew rough. His back bent early. His childhood quietly ended without permission. The shop owner trusted Robert with everything except respect. He paid little, shouted often, and blamed Robert when things went wrong. But Robert stayed. He stayed because he was learning. He learned which goods sold every day, no matter the season. Flour, oil, salt. He learned which spoiled quickly, which could be stored longer, which suppliers delivered late, which cheated weight, which customers always paid and which struggled but were honest. At night, Robert lay awake thinking about shelves. Empty shelves bothered him more than hunger. To him, emptiness meant failure of planning. One winter, a supply shortage hit the city. Prices doubled. People panicked. The shop owner hoarded goods, waiting to sell later for more money. People lined up and went home empty. Children cried outside the door. Robert felt something tighten in his chest. One night, he spoke carefully. He suggested selling slowly instead of hoarding, selling smaller amounts to more people. The shop owner laughed and told him to stay quiet. That night, Robert made a decision without fully understanding it. He decided that one day he would own a shop that did not treat survival like a game. Years passed slowly. Robert grew into a quiet man. He saved tiny amounts of money hidden in a cloth. He skipped meals. He wore the same coat year after year. He waited. When the shop owner fell sick, Robert ran the shop alone. Sales improved. Waste reduced. Customers returned. Even the owner noticed, but pride prevented him from admitting it. Then one evening, the shop owner died suddenly. No family came. The shop closed. Creditors arrived. Robert stood on the street, watching everything he knew disappear. For the first time in his life, Robert was free and terrified at the same time. Using his small savings, he rented a narrow shop 2 streets away. It was barely visible, barely clean, barely standing. He bought only essential goods. No luxury, no excess, just what people needed most. He priced fairly. He allowed small credit for trusted families. He wrote everything down carefully. Some days he earned almost nothing. Some days he lost money. But people kept coming back. Suppliers tested him. Some tried to cheat. Some delayed deliveries. Robert remembered everything. He switched suppliers quietly. He paid on time. Trust grew slowly, like a fragile plant. Hard times came again. A fire destroyed nearby shops. Prices rose. Panic returned. Robert refused to hoard. He rationed fairly. People noticed. His shop became a place people trusted. Not because it was cheap, but because it was honest. Years passed like this, slowly, painfully. Robert expanded shelf by shelf. Another small storage room. Another helper. Then a second shop across the river. He still lived simply. He still woke early. He still listened more than he spoke. One evening, Robert watched a child carefully count coins before buying flour. He recognized himself in that moment. Something inside him softened and hardened at the same time. He knew life would never become easy, but he also knew something else now. Stability mattered more than speed. Trust mattered more than profit. And survival, when shared, became strength. The city kept changing. People came and went. Hard seasons returned again and again. But Robert's shops stayed open. Lights on, shelves steady. And every morning, when he unlocked the door, the smell of flour and oil reminded him of where he started, and why he never rushed to finish the story.